pensive in thought, pensive of mind. Follow the herd to where? No, not where follow. Or will you fall to your death off a cliff from her watching you from behind? The year was 1985. I was 20, Adelia was 18. She was leaving work from Dunkin' Donuts and she was going to take the bus home. My hair was growing long. And I said, Delia, give us another chance. And she said, no, I gave you my body. What more do you want? I said, your soul. I would have to remember the blue sky that I saw every day. It was a beautiful blue sky with white billowy clouds. And I would stare at the mountains and the palm tree every day, thinking about the present and the present, and thinking about all that have happened to me and what was awaiting for me in the future. My thoughts of returning back to New York was filled with dismay. Dismay because I knew that I would be returning back to a very corrupt system and regime that was looking to repress me, oppress me, and possibly kill me. And I did not want to return to a regime that was wishing to repress, oppress, and kill me. Very simple. If there's any notion of the preservation of life, I know that I have to preserve my life at any cost. If not, I could die. And my wish was not to die. My wish is that for my family and myself to stay alive. But this had been my wish for quite some time. Those who plunge us into the depravity of now knew that this would be a reality. That they snicker, they laugh, they make money, they earn their living off your death, of many deaths. They eat off your death. They think, they dream, they breathe from your death, not theirs, not physically, and how you are suffering. And these were the thoughts that were in my mind. I had a conversation with Andrew Serban, a Romanian friend of mine from Romania. Family was from Romania, immigrated here. He was born in this country. I've known Andrew for many, many, many years, since I was in my 20s. And now I'm 56. So that's a very long time. When I was in California, I spoke to him. I told him, I said, listen, I'm here and I'm being tortured here. These people stealing my money here. But I'm here and I'm not going to leave yet. And he would say, you should come back. You shouldn't be there because if you stay there, they're going to steal your money and there's no services there. You don't want to be in California with no money. And I thought to myself, he's bullshitting me. He knows what is being done to me here. He knows what was done to me in New York. And he's speaking to me as if I'm like vacationing like a tourist when I'm not. I told him specifically what happened to me. I was actually engaged in a type of racist treatment that people, haven't been treated like this for a long time. there was rights people passed in order not to be treated this way. This is over 50, 60 years that people were treated this way, specifically in the United States of America. Okay? About 60 years. So we actually went back about 60 years in terms of rights in this country. Okay? 60 years. That's backwards, not forwards, folks. Not forwards, backwards. So he said to me that, and I said to him that I'll never be broke. You know, I didn't expect him to understand what I was saying, because this is a man who's older than me and he lives with his father, mother. They pay his rent, eat, everything he does because his mom and daddy pay for him. And he's a Columbia University graduate, teacher, photography, film. When I was there, one of his films played in Los Angeles in an independent festival. And I was in San Bernardino. I was 70 miles away. I thought about going to represent, but then I said no, because I was being tortured. And so he said to me, if you come back to New York, at least you can live in a room and you have money. I said, he has some audacity to speak to me in this way. Real audacity. You know, not even as a friend, you know. So this is the level of thinking. Now, conversation could happen with someone who you've known, eaten with, and everything before any of this happened. Imagine the mindset of the people who don't know you. But yet, this is going on. This is the subjugation of the mind that is occurring in America and Europe, throughout the whole world. Social media doesn't matter. Television doesn't matter. Inflation doesn't matter. And now even war doesn't matter. Actually fighting for so-called rights, human rights, when the people who are fighting for rights, guess what? They're a bunch of gingers who are not even as they appear to be, and they're saying they're fighting for rights. Doesn't matter what color they are, skin color, nationality, ethnicity, anything like that. Okay? And this is the great facade. Now, the succinct answer is that, you see, for these people, this is their reality. And they will circumvent or subvert your reality at your expense for theirs. So they want to breathe, eat, raise their children, go to school, everything. And they want you to die. They don't want you to live. They want you to die. They don't care about your mother, about your father, about your grandfather, sister, brother, you. They don't care about anything but their own profit and their own living. And these are people who can be from age 3, cognizant age, all the way to 100 years old or more. And this is the great facade that is happening in history. This has never happened in this way in all of human history. You can go back to all points in history and say, have people changed very much? Well, people have changed insofar as knowledge is concerned, right? We know more now than we knew, say, a long time ago in the first century. We have more now than we had in the first century. You see? So from a 21st century perspective, the fact that they are gingers riding on a horseless cow doesn't mean much, but to them it means much. Now they know that it doesn't mean anything because they know they are lying. They know that it's a facade. And do you think it stops them? No. They say they're doing it for progressiveness. They say they're doing it because they are ginger, riding on a cow without a horse. They say all the different reasons. If their reasons are so good, why is it happening? If they wanted to annihilate the world, they wouldn't have to do any of this. All they would have to do is detonate bombs All they would have to do, they could put poisonous gas in the air, and people would just start falling like flies. They could poison the entire food supply. And if you take one bite of food, you would die from poison. 22 years ago, I experienced 9/11, which at the time was the worst attack on American soil. This is after World War II, after Pearl Harbor. On that day, also was a beautiful blue sky day. It was a Tuesday, and I got dressed. I was living in New Jersey. Got dressed to work, go to work. Did not expect this to happen. And I arrived early, and I went a little bit early, and I went to get a cup of coffee in the kitchen. We had free coffee, and it tastes like coffee too. And there was a lone black man staring out the window, and this was facing the skyline of Manhattan. This was in Jersey City. And he said a plane went into the World Trade Center. I said, what? And I went to the window, and I saw plumes and plumes of black smoke emanating out of the window of the World Trades, which were still standing. And I could not believe that a whole entire plane had entered the building. Now, it looked like you would expect to see a big gaping hole. From my angle, there was no hole. All I could see was just a smoke, black smoke coming out, and then papers coming out. Paper, a lot of paper and smoke. A lot of paper and smoke. Black, billowy smoke of the burning steel, metal, flesh, wood, plastic, flesh. Try to imagine it, those of you who were not there. Having my baby, what a lovely way when you say how much you love me. Leslie Napoli always used to bow her head whenever there was sin. Any kind of sin, she would bow her head and wait for sin to prevail. Delia and the hawk, one day, she said it doesn't feel the same, didn't answer her phone anymore. That winged bird of paradise, I wonder where you are now, doing the same thing, looking. I'm not there. I'm in New York. You're not here to be with me and console me as I console you. And together we get through another day. I didn't want you to videotape me because I like my privacy. But you videotape me anyway, I understand. I'm looking for what I have to do. And then you left to San Francisco. Raining. You got all wet. When you got there, then you came back. And then you left to Nevada. And then you went to San Bernardino. That's where all that happened. There's Delia. And the great Jacqueline Simone. As you watch this video, unbeknownst to everyone, she was told to speak to me by Giselle Rothier. And then she came and she introduced herself to me. I told her I had been to the Coalition for the Homeless before, and she told me that they would help me with something. I said, help me with what? So I've already been there since 2009. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And then she has the audacity to come and speak to me like that, like I had never been there or anything. So I took the opportunity to then help with various causes that were being sponsored by the Coalition for the Homeless. And this is how Jacqueline and I became friends. She gave me her card. I was there in the marble steps of City Hall with her, and thus became our partnership in the homelessness crisis of New York City of the 21st century, the politics, the body politic of the 21st century. And this is me at City Hall listening to one of the City Hall members with the great Mark. They're, again, doing great work for the homelessness. Now this is me in California in 2021 in Wilshire Boulevard. I'm recovering from homelessness for over 5 years in California, and I did pray. I did heal myself. I did heal my mind. Though my body and mind was affected by others who wished me not to fix my mind and body. And I did. And now, is this something to joke about? The secret of the world? Marcuse, the great ballistic missile. Is it that these great people must somehow bring the West to their senses for all of the corruption of the West through the chemicals of warfare? And should this happen, this will happen. And what will be left? Not you, not me, my precious seagull. The earth will be a floating sphere, a floating sphere in the universe, in space. And the mighty dollar will be no more. The image of two black bodies faded away as I stared at a cathode ray. Like dust and sand, lechery of the capitalistic mind. My brain once again succumbed to my surroundings, boredom and waste, resumed a homeostasis. I didn't pay my cable bill. My cable was cut off. This was when analog UHF VHS waves permeated the air. Just unplug the cable box and watch TV. Or just watch a DVD disc or a VHS tape. These objects never failed to entertain you. Was that a sound I heard? Is it you that called? I always recall your memory. Do you remember me at all? If, in our last moments, we die alone, love or have loved, still would matter. Or wait a second more and no more. No more. No more.